The measures do not affect Gibraltar residents, but those who became resident in Spain after the 31st of December 2020 and have been resident in Spain for longer than 6 months. They now need to apply for a Spanish driving licence if they wish to continue driving in Spain. This means having to pass their test there. The measure does not affect visitors to Spain driving with a UK or Gibraltar driving licence.
There are two different things. One is the recognition of driving licenses, which means your use as a visitor or as a tourist of your driving license when you drive into Spain or into the European Union. And the other one is the exchange of driving licenses, which is what this is about. I mean, originally there was a period until the end of December 2020 where EU citizens who lived in the UK or in Gibraltar, or British citizens, including Gibraltarians who lived in Spain, but the deadline for exchange of their licenses would have been the 31st of December 2020. And by that I mean exchanging your UK or Gibraltar license for a Spanish license on the basis that you're resident in Spain. If you're resident in Gibraltar, you don't need to do anything. That deadline has been extended several times. The last such extension was until the 30th of April, so a few days ago. So that means that from now on, you cannot exchange your driving license anymore for a Spanish one if you live in Spain, and it means you need to take a driving test again in order to have a Spanish license.
As a result of bilateral arrangements and the application of international conventions, Gibraltar driving licences will be recognised in Spain and across Europe as they were before the 31st of December 2020 and have been since the 1st of January 2021 without the need for an international driving permit. The government is still negotiating with 3 countries that are left: Croatia, Cyprus and Italy.
That's right. On the question of recognition of licenses, which is a different thing, the UK has negotiated a series of bilateral agreements on the recognition of the various British licenses, including ours, but Jersey and the UK's own license and others, bilateral recognition agreements with different member states of the European Union.
For tourists and visitors.
For tourists and for visitors. Now, that process has gone pretty well. If you look at the first technical notice we issued, there were a long list of countries where recognition had not yet been achieved. That has now been achieved in practically all cases, and France was the last one to be concluded some time ago. So that is for the recognition of licenses for you to be able to drive as a visitor or as a tourist, distinct from the exchange of licenses, which is what we've been talking about up to now.
And on the basis of reciprocity, EU citizens living on the Rock will now no longer be able to exchange their licences either and will have to sit the driving test.
Well, on this particular one, on the exchange of licenses, we've already said in the information we've issued in the past that as long as the EU exchanged licenses with us, we will continue to do it with them. Spain has continued until the 30th of April, so have we. Obviously, EU citizens who live in Gibraltar or Spanish nationals who live in Gibraltar had the advantage of being able to exchange their license from their home country for a Gibraltar license, given that this was now their home. That facility has now also come to an end. The system is now the same. It means that if you are a British citizen living in the European Union and you haven't exchanged your license, so you need to comply with the requirements of that country in order to exchange your home license for the license of the state in which you now happen to live. And in Gibraltar, it would be exactly the same. It would mean that if you are an EU citizen and you've not followed the advice we've been giving up to now, and you want to exchange your license for a Gibraltar one, you now would need to sit a driving test.
Even though people have had plenty of time and warnings to exchange their licences, it has caught many by surprise, with the bureaucracy making the process tedious and lengthy.